What's up? This your boy Fast checking in with you with another one. Some people are rude and they may wake up on the wrong side of the bed with an attitude because they in prison. They might owe somebody or they might got some bad news. I remember one time when this dude named P. Now P is tall, he light-skinned, he work in the kitchen, he also hustles in the kitchen. But man, the man was the disrespectfulest dude I know. I mean, he come in the pod loud, making all type of noise. I mean, he wasn't threatening nobody or nothing like that. He just had this different vibe about himself because he was always rude and he was always loud when it came to certain things. I remember one day when I got up in the morning to go to chow because it's lunchtime, and I said I ain't gonna go. So I get my ice bucket and I go downstairs, and when I go downstairs, I'm filling my ice chest up, and that's when P comes in. He's like, "Hey, I got some sandwiches for sale." And everybody looking at him like, yeah, they gonna get him. So I seen people going up to him. So he look at me and I shake my head. Nah, I don't want one. So when I go back to my cell on my way back, my boy Mark, which is my neighbor. Now Mark is a red-headed dude. I mean, but he got some big ass hands. He's real quiet. He don't really mess with nobody. He ain't a hustler or anything like that. I don't think he does is like draw a lot of portraits of people's families and things. And that's his hustle. He does that by drawing. So he's like, "Hey, you want a sandwich?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't want one," because I was gonna eat, my food in my room. So he goes down there. I guess he gets the sandwich, and when he comes back, instead of him staying in the cell, he just goes to in his cell, puts the food up, and then he goes to chow. So he on the way back from chow, I guess he goes to his room and he gets the sandwich and he's looking at the sandwich and the sandwich is messed up. So he comes out to me. He's like, "Hey, look at this sandwich, man." And when I looked at the sandwich, it was all smashed up. I mean, you can tell that the man put the sandwich in his belt. The plastic was coming off. So basically his skin and all that was on the sandwich. It wasn't wrapped properly. So I'm like, "Hey, you probably need to take that back to him to see what he say." And then I was like, "You didn't look at the sandwich before you bought it?" And he was like, "Nah." He said, "I just got it and just put it in my room and went to chow." So I was like, "Yeah, take that shit back to old boy, man, and tell him that you don't want it." So I guess he takes it back. And when he comes back, I'm like, "What did he say?" He's like, he didn't say nothing. He just looked at me kind of crazy. He had an attitude about, the sandwich and stuff. So I was like, "All right." So I was like, "Shit, he ain't really tripping off anything." He's like, "Nah, I don't know, man." So after that, we go to yard, it's 5 o'clock. We go to yard. So when we come back from the yard, we go to the shower. And then when we go to the shower, we back there taking our shower. Me and Mark, we talking. I'm like, "Should he say anything to you about that?" And he's like, "Nah." He just said that I got to pay him just the 2 soups. And I was like, "Shit, what you gonna do?" And he's like, "Shit, I don't know, man. I don't know if I should pay him or what should I do?" I was like, "Shit, if you think there's gonna be some type of issue with that, just go ahead and pay him and just don't fuck with him no more." So then, like a few minutes later, that's when P come in there, and when he came in there, he started taking the shower like right beside us, but a little couple stalls over. So he look at that Mark. He's like, "Hey, you gonna give me them soups?" And Mark's like, "Shit, I don't know, man, because that sandwich you gave me was kind of messed up." So he's like, "Shit, you gonna have to do something because shit, I ain't take all these risks for nothing for you to just not give me nothing." So Mark's like, "Shit, we'll figure something out, man." He said, "Yeah, we got to figure something out." I was like, "All right." I'm just looking at them talking. So then after I leave out, me and Mark leave out from the shower. We go back up to our room. And when we go back to our room, like about 5 minutes later, that's when P come up to sell Mark's cell. He's like, "Hey, you got them soups?" And Mark's like, "Nah, I ain't gonna give you no soups." And P's like, "Shit, you gonna have to do something." And Mark's like, "Nah, I ain't gonna give you nothing because shit, that shit wasn't right." So after P leaves, I tell Mark, I'm like, "Hey man, you might as well give him them soups because you don't want nothing to jump off or anything like that." He's like, "Shit, I don't know, man, because shit, the way that he did me on them sandwiches, shit, I don't know if, I should pay him." I was like, "Yeah, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation to where you in a hole or you end up, having to fight somebody." And he was like, "Shit, I ain't worried about it, man. I can handle myself." I was like, "All right." So then the next morning, we go to chow. And when we go to chow, I guess P come down there. He's like, "Hey, you basically asking him if he gonna give him the soups again." He tell him, nah, he ain't gonna give him to him. So P like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Shit, you gonna have to do something. And Mark's like, shit, you gonna have to just let the door be the bell. So P walk off, he walk off. Guess he goes to child, he come back, and when he come back there to his cell again, and he's talking to him again. But I ain't there. I come later. You know, I seen him at the door talking. So when I walk by him, I just goes in my cell. And I'm like, shit, after he leave, I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, shit, he trying to, you know, make sure that I give him the soups on store day. And I was like, shit, on store day, he don't want them right now? And he was like, nah, he's basically telling me I can wait till store day to get him. So I'm like, shit, what you gonna do? And he's like, shit, I ain't gonna give him nothing. So I'm like, shit, that's on you and him, you know. Like I told him earlier, shit, you don't want to get in no type of no type of beef with nobody, because if you do, you might end up in a hole, or, you know, something might happen to you. So he's like, he ain't worried about that. So I was like, all right. So then we go to yard. When we go to yard at night, we come back. Like I said, we do our normal thing. We take a shower. P come in there again, you know. He still on him about them damn soups, you know. So you still gonna pay me? And then the old boy is like, nah, I ain't gonna pay you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, because, shit, why should he pay him if he giving them some smashed ass sandwiches, and plus the plastic is off? So P like, hey, on Wednesday, you know, on store day, just go ahead and give me them soups. And old boy was like, shit, I ain't gonna do that. And P was like, shit, you gonna have to do something. So when me and Mark was walking back up to our cells, I was telling him, hey, man, just go ahead and give him them soups. I said, I'll give you 2 soups, you know, just to chill all the madness going on. And he was like, nah, you ain't got to do that, man. You ain't got to do that, because, shit, he already know that he did some faulty ass shit. So I'm like, all right, man, you know, just be careful, you know, how people is, because you already know how people is in here. And he was like, yeah, I know how people is in here, but, shit, I ain't worried about it, because, shit, if he doing bad business like that, shit, he don't need to be doing no business with nobody. He don't need to be bringing nothing back from the kitchen. So I was like, yeah, that's true. You know, so Mark was like, hey, man, you know, if some do jump off, you got my back. And I was like, shit, I don't know, man. You know, I can try to have your back, but, shit, at this time, you know, I'm really trying to go home. So I ain't really trying to back down from no type of fight or anything like that. But if he did need my help or whatever, I was going to kind of help him, because, like I said, me and him was neighbors, and we did a lot of things together. So Mark was like, shit, I ain't gonna worry about it. So he's had like a couple days to pay him. So next couple days, you know, we basically looking at P like, shit, what you gonna do? You know, shit, if so Wednesday come in his store day, and when P come up, I guess he come up to Mark's cell, he's like, hey, you gonna give me them soups? And Mark's like, nah, I ain't gonna give you them soups. And P's like, all right, he just walk off, you know. So then we go to the yard, you know, don't nothing happen. So then we come back to the shower, you know, like we do every night. So while we back there showering, you know, P come up in there. He's like, hey, you ain't gonna give me them soups? He said it like in an aggressive way. You ain't gonna give me them soups? And he's like walking up on him. So Mark looking at him like, shit, what the fuck you mean? I ain't gonna give you shit, you know? So then I guess Pete tried to swing on him, and Mark backed up a little bit, and he came back and he threw like 2 good blows at him. Boom, 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 boom. And they in there banging, fighting. Everything is going down up in this motherfucker, you know. And I'm looking at these two like, shit, these motherfuckers up in this motherfucker tearing it up, you know. But I guess I was supposed to help him, but the way that thing was going, shit, I'm thinking that, you know, shit, he winning, you know, because Mark is winning, you know. Boom, he finally knock old boy down, you know. And when he knock old boy down, he get up on top of him, and now he's choking dude. He's choking him like this, you know, like trying to kill him. So I get up on Mark, I pull him off. I'm like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You tripping, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't be doing nothing like that, because, shit, I'm thinking that he's really trying to kill dude, because the way that he was on top of him, choking him like that, you would think that he was trying to do something. So I was like, shit, after I got him off him, I took him back to the room, you know, to his cell. And then, like, probably about 5 minutes later, you know, P come out to the day room, you know, and he yelling, you know, hey, Mark, get your ass down here. You know, we got to finish this, you know. So Mark's like, shit, I might as well just go on down there, you know what I'm saying, and finish. And I was like, yeah, you already got it started, you know what I'm saying? You might as well finish it now because, shit, it's on and popping. So he come up out of his cell. They go to the day room. He's like, shit, where you want to go? He's like, shit, we can go back to the Shire if you want to. So they go back to the Shire, you know. They start fighting again. I ain't go back there with them when they was fighting because, shit, I didn't want to be nowhere around nothing like that. So then they was fighting, you know what I'm saying, real hard, you know, back there. I don't know who's winning, but I know that from the way that Mark was putting his hands on him from the beginning, shit, Mark should be winning, but I ain't know it. So then, like, a few minutes later, P come out there, you know, he kind of, you know, got his eye messed up, his nose is bleeding, his lips is cracked, you know. And when he's walking back up, that's when the police was coming back down, you know. And he so when the guards seen P like that, they put him up against the wall, put him in the handcuffs, and wait on the other officers to get there because, like I said, he blew the whistle, and all the officers was coming running. So then they got him up out there. I guess they took him to the clinic. I don't know where they took him, but they took him somewhere. Probably about 20 minutes later, that's when the black suits came back in there, and they went straight up to Mark's cell and put the handcuffs on him and got him up out there. I'm in the day room looking up at him now because, shit, I wanted, basically after the fight, everybody's out in the day room talking, so I look at them coming and taking Mark up out there. So I'm like, shit, Mark looking at me with his head down like he's sad and stuff like that. So I was looking at him back like in suspense because, shit, I ain't think that that white boy had them hands like that, but he did. So then after they leave, I go back up to my cell. I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, man, you know, this shit could have been resolved. I could have just gone ahead and paid them 2 soups, and that way, you know, my man wouldn't have been able to flip out on nobody like that. But yeah, you don't want to go to the penitentiary or get yourself involved in things like that, because if you do, you end up going to be on the bad side. You're either going to be in a hole, you're going to end up losing good time. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen to you, so you don't even want to go to situations like that. You want to make sure that you stay at home and with your family and your loved ones to where you ain't got to worry about being in no situation like that. But yeah, this is your boy Fast checking in with you. Y'all stay up. I'm up out of here.